Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing okay. So we are crocheting a dupe for the iPhone Pocket. This I think is the first dupe we're making on this channel, which is absolutely exciting. I mean, I am not here to tell you what to do with your money. It is your money, by all means spend it, but if you want an alternative, that is what I'm here for. And this is the yarn we're going to be using. I think this brand is called iHawk. I can't actually tell if that's L or W. I honestly do not know, but I got this from Amazon. So if anyone cares, go check it out on there. I have chosen this yarn because it's sort of like a cotton t-shirt style yarn, which I think is perfect from this for this tutorial. I had a look at a few of it just to see, like a few pictures, just to see what kind of yarn to go for, and of course to figure out what kind of pattern to go for as well. I have another bag of this yarn, so I might actually just start with it, which is this cute little guys here. It is absolutely such a gorgeous yarn. I know that the actual pockets are mainly solid colors, but the thing is, I do not mind having a bit of razzle dazzle. Also, you know what, like, you know, in case they want to come and see your girl, you know what I mean, they can't really sue me because it's slightly different, you know what I'm saying. But these are 50 gram a yarn. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need both of them, but I think one is thick enough. In terms of crochet needle, I am going to go with I'm gonna go with an 8, and I have my trusted 8 here, 8mm hook to crochet with, and then the yarn, which is a 50 gram we're starting with at the moment. I feel like with this, the beauty about a dupe is that you are obviously like making it your own, or you're making it exactly how it is. So choose a pattern, choose a yarn, choose a size that is going to be more ideal for you. I've gone with 8 because I kind of want to make this a very sort of quick-ish tutorial, and you can go off and make it your own, you know what I mean. So if you want to make it smaller, if you want to make it more like the actual design, all of that stuff, let me know in the comment section and we can always come back and do this again. But I just needed something to get us started. There's one, two. I can't talk and crochet to save my life. So when I start counting, I literally just have to stop talking because it's one or the other. Your girl can't do both. I tried this out yesterday, and if my measurements were right, then 8 should be enough for the base. And yes, 8 is enough for the base. So base of my measurements, 8mm. The base or the chi or whatever you want to call it, the chain stitch I'm going for is 8. I have an iPhone 14 Pro for reference. If you have your iPhone or your phone, it doesn't have to be an iPhone. If you have a phone next to you, just use your phone to measure out what you need. That's essentially what I did yesterday to get the size that I needed. So we have about 8 here. I'm going to add 2 more. 1, 2 for the chain on the chain, and then we can go back to our 8, our number 8 here. I hope you guys can see. I'm trying my best to make sure you guys can see. So go back to your number 8 and just go to the front of that. I think I've done something wrong, so I'm going to start that again, but it's essentially the same. 8 on the chi, and then add 2 more, then continue. This is honestly why I don't do tutorials. I feel like I'm terrible at explaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mark out your 8. 1 and 2. And here we go. Got an extra 2. Go back on the front loop. Take out a stitch. And pull. Honestly, if you can't see what I'm doing, I really do not know how best to explain, but trust the process is gonna come out together nicely. While we are on here, how is everyone feeling about this product? I love a controversial product. I feel like Apple has never been a company that, you know, sort of goes with the economy of most people. They just do their own thing in terms of price point. So I am not surprised at the price. I am more surprised that people are surprised at the price, if that makes sense. Don't even think Apple has anything on their lineup that is under £200 to start with. I've chosen the stitch because it mimics the pattern closely, and I want it to look as close to the pattern, like the stitch pattern, even if it doesn't look exactly identical, given that I am using a different color yarn. I could have just chosen a solid yarn, but I didn't want to do that because I feel like we need to add a bit more fun to this. And although this is a fun dupe, I do want to add a bit of, you know, razzle dazzle to it, and the yarn is the best way that I could think of to bring some fun. Another reason why I chose this stitch is because I feel like it will give us a bit of stretch, which is good for this project. Oh, okay, I've gone to the end of the first row, but instead of continuing on, I'm just going to go round on the second half because this is a little cute pouch, like a bag of pouch or something, whatever you want to call it. Guys, bear with me, you're like the first person I'm talking to this morning aside from my husband, and it was just high and by, so words of course are failing me as usual, but that's nothing new. If you've been here enough time, you would know that this is how it goes. So now we're moving on to the next row. I'm just doing exactly the same thing stitch wise, nothing crazy. Just one loop, pull out and close. Honestly, the stitch couldn't be any simpler if I tried. The most fidgety part is the beginning. Once you get past that part, it's just gonna be pretty smooth sailing from there, in my opinion. So a different method I considered was making 2 separate stitches and bringing it together, but I feel like there's no need for that except you are using a different stitch pattern that requires that. I tested this out yesterday and I think it took me about an hour and a half to make one. Honestly, I didn't even know about the existence of this product until my husband sent it to me yesterday, and he was like, oh, you should do something like this as a video idea. And I was like, you know what, I should. I have things I should be doing today, but you know what, a little bit of diversion never hurts anyone. So here we are, back on this row, and we're just doing the same thing. So we got our first patch. It's going to start folding soon, so trust the process, like I said. But we have our first row, and we're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna keep building around it using the stitch. Another reason why I chose the stitch is because I know the yarn has a lot going on for her, so I didn't feel like we needed a stitch that's gonna do too much, if that makes sense. So this stitch can hold our own, which is absolutely lovely. Ooh, that is loud. Why is my notification that loud? Usually I'll do a front loop or a back loop only, but to make sure the bag is solid and it holds and it's not too fragile, I am doing a full loop on this project. I might end up changing my mind because I'm not gonna lie, I do love the look of a back loop or a front loop only project. I just think they look very chic and cute. But let's see, it's just one row, so if we need to change anything, there is plenty of time to do that. Again, you guys can choose whatever pattern or whatever design you want. It doesn't have to be an iPhone pocket or an iPhone that you use to make one of this. If you just want a cute little bag or something you can make for someone for Christmas as a gift, I do think it's a good idea. But I'm gonna save my thoughts on the product when I finish. So make sure you watch to the end and we can review it together. I believe I used 8 yesterday and it was the right measurement, but now I'm wondering if because the yarn I used yesterday was slightly different, if this would be too small. But we do not know until we progress a bit more, which is why I'm actually just like going for it. I want to give myself a few more rows, then I can try it on quickly on my phone to see if is going to be wide enough for what I need. Anyway, on the conversation of making something like this as a gift for Christmas, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can make one that is for a phone and other things can fit into it, and you can make one that is just strictly for a phone. But the more I do this, the more I'm realizing I might have gone with too small a chain to start with. So we might have to restart this, which is not a problem because as you guys can see, it is moving pretty quickly. So if you make a mistake, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Just start again until you have your measurements. So this is what she looks like right now. Very happy with the color, very happy with the design, the color, the stitch pattern, that's what I want to say. But it feels a little small, if I do say so myself. So I'm just gonna pop it on the top of my phone because my phone is right behind us here, and see, yeah, it is just that tiny bit too small. I needed just one more chain. Just one more chain would have done it, but that's not a problem. That's not a problem. It is the beauty of not working with pattern. So I would just start this again, and instead of chaining 8, I'm gonna chain 9 and just continue on how we did. So that is the most change we should be doing. I do want this to be just for the phone. I don't want it to be any bigger, hence the reason I'm chaining 9 instead of 10. Although now that I say that, I'm just like, should I just chain 10 to be safe? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I'm gonna chain 9. And then it's 1 and 2, and we're back to our usual. Go back on that row. Loop 1 and repeat. if you are choosing a yarn for this project, I would say to either go for something like a t-shirt yarn or a yarn that has a bit of stretch, so you give yourself a little bit of freedom when working on this. And now we are back to our first row, so it's slightly bigger, which is absolutely what we want. We don't want it to be overly tight that you can't actually fit the phone in, because that defeats the purpose. I'm gonna add 2 rows on the sides this time so it doesn't collapse in too much. So this is the end here. The last time I didn't bother adding anything to this part here just because I didn't want to stretch it out too much, but this time around I am going to make use of it. This is the reason I did not want to make to chain 10, because I knew I could extend it this way. So I'm just going to extend it this way. So I've chained 2 on the last loop here. This way we have our extra for the curve, and now we can go on this section here and continue. I am super working on being able to give actual tutorials, because that is not my strong point. I'm always here for vibes. I'm here to show you what I've done and be on my way. But I appreciate some people want to see how it was done, but you guys have to bear with me, because for all the talking I can do, explaining the process is not my strongest suit. But I'm getting better, I promise. I'm working on it. We are done on the first row, so just like before, we're just going to continue on. But now I'm kind of tempted, because I've already restarted, to just do a front loop. I did tell you guys I love me a front loop or a back loop, but I'm going to stick to taking both sides this time around, just because, you know, let's stick to the plan. I'm feeling a lot more confident with the size now, so I should be fine going for this pattern. My favorite thing is when it starts to curve and you can start seeing the side building up. I just love that because it feels like that is real progress. So let's keep it going. I believe the Issey Miyake design is a knitwear design, English. Yeah, I believe the Issey Miyake one is a knitwear design. So I am going for a stitch that is more knit, that looks more like a knit stitch than a crochet stitch, if that makes sense. Honestly, I think that's it, and we just have to continue until we have our required length for the first half, which is absolutely fun. I might be feeling overconfident because I've not even bothered to try this on the phone and see. I'm going to do that in a sec. But I really do think it's going to be fine this time around, so I'm going to just go for it a bit more before I check. This pattern is absolutely so cute. I need to use it more. Now guys, how gorgeous is this yarn, if we're being honest? Like, it's such a stunning color combination. I know it's fall winter and you're supposed to go all dark and gloomy, but that is honestly not my cup of tea. I do not subscribe to that. I feel like use color to bring some joy back in, especially since there's no sun. So both yarns like this absolutely bring me joy. I really don't want to have to start this project again, so I really hope this time around I've made it wide enough for what I need. If it's not wide, I'm just going to stuff the phone in it, or it's what it is. Just find someone who has a smaller phone and give it to them. If you guys have any questions, make sure to let me know. At the end of this live stream, you can rewatch this on my YouTube channel, and the name is just Crochet by Promise. If you are watching from TikTok, so make sure to go check out my channel. That's where all my live stream lives when it's all done and when it's all said and done. Okay, I'm gonna try it on just because why not? Look at what we've done so far. In how many minutes, I do not know, but you see what I mean by the crochet pattern. It has not very much stretch on the width side, but it does have a bit of stretch on the length. But I am making this the right size, I believe. As long as you're making this the right size, it doesn't really matter too much if it has more stretch. But if you're worried about the stretch, then make sure to use, this is not good. Anyway, I'm gonna deal with that later. But if you're worried about more stretch, use a t-shirt yarn or go for a crochet pattern that allows you a bit more stretch, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to pop this. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I know you couldn't see, but I was just checking and it fits absolutely brilliantly, if I do say so myself. So we're just going to continue on. I really didn't want to have to deal with reattaching yarn, and I still don't want to, so I'm just gonna leave this lump and trim this a little bit so that we don't have to deal with that. I'm very happy with the measurements and I'm very happy with the progress so far, so I'm just going to continue. If you guys have any questions, make sure to let me know in the comment section, and that's it. Just keep going at it until we beat enough. This is my favorite time to crochet, because once you get past that figuring measurements out and everything, and it's just being repetitive, you can sort of like take your mind off it and think about nothing. I thought this is such a cool pattern to use for a bag. Not sure why that just came to my mind. Maybe because I'm making a bag. This is so cute. Just feel quite small. The more I'm working on this, the smaller it's looking, which is a little scary. But I am going to trust myself and trust the measurements that I've taken, that this is the right measurement. I think it's the colors that is making it look so much smaller, and of course the stitch that is making it look so much smaller than it is. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. Oh my god, my part is so small. Guys, remember you can actually adjust yours depending on the measurements you're going for. If you want this to fit more than a phone, then of course add more chain at the bottom, because I've added only 9 chain here. As you can imagine, I've only got this much, but it fits my phone. Sorry, let's try that again. Yep, absolutely fits my phone. Just about, it literally just about fit my phone. So if you want space for like a card, your credit cards, oh, I can't think of anything else you'd have in this actually. Credit cards, keys, maybe. No, you definitely can't have keys. IDs, then yeah, definitely adds more layers to it. And this yarn has a good stretch to it, so make sure you're paying attention to how much stretch your yarn has. If you go for a t-shirt yarn, it would be the most stretch there would be, in my opinion, because they have a lot of elasticity in them. But again, it's really up to you. I think it's so interesting because I literally did this last night, but because the yarn is different and the stitch pattern is different, it's so interesting to see how much more different the measurements come out to be. I'm not sure I have any spare phone cases in this house. It would have been more perfect for me to use as my measurements instead of covering the TikTok camera lens every single time. But a girl gotta do what a girl gotta do, and I want to make sure this measurements. Actually, I do have one sample that I sort of made already. If you guys seen the thumbnail for this video, so I might just use that for my measurements moving forward, so I don't keep closing the camera. I definitely had something to eat before starting this live stream, but one thing I'm gonna do is feel hungry once I start filming, which is absolutely ridiculous because what do you mean? I ate. Doom, 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 doom. So I just need to make enough to cover the phone itself, and then we can take it from there to the next level. But till then it is quite repetitive, just same pattern over and over again until we get enough of what we need to cover up the phone. I need to use this pattern more. This crochet pattern more is actually so gorgeous. I hadn't intended to make this look so small. It just looks so freaking cute. I really wanted it to look a lot more bigger, but you know what? If it works, it works. I feel like one more. Yep. Not quite halfway, but just about. I love the color of this yarn. It's honestly one of my favorite things ever with the colors. I love when the color comes together so nicely and you don't have to change 20 different colors just to get a cute design pattern. Okay, we are on the section. I'm just going to do this so I can see how much more we need to go. This is how much we have crocheted so far. This has got to be the tiniest phone case, phone pockets ever made. But listen, everything is the same. All you have to do is adjust your measurements. I really don't want to start again, so I'm gonna keep at this because I don't, like I said, I don't want to start again. I don't want to make it any bigger, especially because I know it will fit my phone. So if you guys want a bigger one, just adjust your measurements. Maybe do 12 on your chain, like chain 12 instead of chaining 9 like I did. I thought one of the good things about this crochet stitch is because of how it is, you can actually use a really big size crochet hook and you will still be fine. It won't be too gapy and gapping and all that stuff, which I am getting pretty excited by because I love projects that allow me to use a big crochet hook or even a chunky yarn, because like I've said multiple times, I'm not the fastest when it comes to crocheting, so I give myself all the grace that I can where I can. Dum, 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 dum. feel like because of how much stretch and elasticity this yarn has, I might be getting closer to the top part being finished. But I'm just gonna do one more row around it. Then I'm gonna unhook my phone from the tripod and actually test it out and see if we got enough for the first half. I don't want to do too much and then I'm having to remove the stitches, because no, that's not what we want to do. We've already done enough fogging today. I know it's just one, but one is enough. So just coming off to the corner, I'm gonna add an extra one here and just lock this up. No, don't tangle. There we go, that's much better. I do not believe I have my, oh, I do have measuring tape here, so that's fine. I can give you guys the measurements once I'm setting. This is how tiny this patch is coming out to be, but this is how much she actually stretches, so you guys can see what I mean. Like, it does stretch, and obviously after a few usage it is going to stretch even more. So it is a serious trust the process situation. But I am going to try and put my phone in this now, because I want to see if I've made enough on the height, or how much more I need to make, because like I said, I don't want to overdo it. So I'm gonna pause this live on TikTok. That's the wrong one. Hey, says I am making a dupe for the iPhone pockets. Let's just pause this a sec. Listen, I've literally just paused my life really quickly so I can see how this looks. It's a bit tight, just a tiny bit. Oh my god, guys, I don't want to start again. It just about fits. That is so risky, but it does fit, just about. But it absolutely fits. So we need about, whoa, 6 more rows, I would say. But you see what I mean, guys. It does give a bit of stretch, especially on the length side. And of course, after many use, it is going to stretch out a bit more. But if you do not want yours to be this snug, which I actually didn't want this to be this snug, then I would add more chain, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is that. Let's see if this life is still on. And we are back. Oh no, my life has gone off. There we go, we're back. And sorry about that, guys. I had to test it out just to make sure it was right and it fit. It just about made it. We just about made it. So it was a bit, it was a bit of a tricky one still, but I am glad I didn't start from scratch, because you know, we ain't got all day. But that was very risky, if I do say so myself. Living life on the edge and everything, you know. It's just what we do around here. So I'm gonna say I need about like 4, or to be safe, I might just do 6 more rows. But we're definitely heading in the right direction. when I'm at home doing, I'm always working because I work from home, but when I'm at home and I'm not live streaming or talking to you guys, I never feel this much hunger. But once I start live streaming or I start talking, I just get so hungry. Like, make it make sense. I actually think I've chosen the right colors for this project. It's gonna be quite cute. I think this is like second row being added since the measurements. I'm gonna try and keep count, so when I get to about 6 or 5, should I say, I can check my measurements again. Dum, dum. We are entering the third row, guys. Oh, I think we're on the fourth now. Trying to keep count. Yeah, I do think we are on the foot. And I think we are now on the 5th row. But if I'm being honest, I have lost count ages ago. So once I get to the end on this quarter, I will check my measurements on the other yarn. I do not want to harass my phone again. So I'll just use the measurement of the first sample that I've made and take it from there. Yep, one more. Okay. And this is what we got. So keeping in mind how much I've literally had to stretch it on the weights, I need this to be a bit long-ish. I feel like this is a great time to show you guys the first sample that we made. I made this last night. I used a different yarn and a different crochet stitch, so obviously they are looking and feeling absolutely slightly different, but it is the same end goal. I'm just gonna use this to measure. So as you guys can see, I have about enough for the actual pocket for the camera, for the phone, before we move on to the bag. But I'm gonna add one more row. Again, like I said, this is going to act slightly different because of how much smaller I have made. How much smaller I have made the weight of this one. So I'm just gonna add that one last row to give it grace, so it doesn't stretch too insanely much. I think this one is fine to be too big than to be too long, and not to be too long. To be or not to be, because wow, I can't even speak. So we just need to get back here. Oh no, just getting carried away. Okay, we are back to believe we are back to this half. We have what we need in terms of our length. This should fit the phone, but because I'm easily paranoid, I'm very tempted to test my phone out again. TikTok, I'm really sorry, but this just has to happen, because it's really gonna piss me off if it's like off by the slightest, and I don't want to deal with that. So I'm just going to go for it. I mean, to be fair, I do have a whole bunch of things on my phone, so of course she's fighting for her life. Of course she is fighting for her life. Ooh. I'm hoping once we do the straps we will stop suffering. Even if the suffering is all of my own doing, but that's not the point, guys. That's not the point. I am so excited. Look at this, guys. Look. I'm like, come on. Look how nice and snug and cozy and comfortable the phone sits. Because you guys have to remember, this is my phone with my phone case. So although it seems like I have made it too snug, I do have enough room for it to also take my phone and my phone case. So that's absolutely brilliant, if I do say so myself. I am going to do one more row just so it covers up completely and it feels even that much snug and secured. But the color is absolutely sensational, if I do say so myself. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy. I am glad I tested it one more time, because you know, now I know for a fact that she is working and I am happy, and that is so fun. I don't want to invite anyone. Just want to not. Oh my god, guys, 1 second. I think TikTok is tired of my shenanigans. I am not even sure what's going on anymore, but I need to finish this project, and I'm not about to get distracted. So let's try. My video is not working though. It says the video is working on here, so I give up, guys. Guys, I really give up. So one more, we just need to get back here, and we'd have more than enough to conceal the front completely in the pocket, and then we can move on to doing the strap part of this project. Okay, we have enough to actually cover the phone. I hope. Ugh, ugh. No, of course not. Ugh. I was trying to see if I had any crochet markers for the next stage, but I do not have any markers. I do have a measuring tape though, so I'm just gonna tell you guys what I ended up doing for the length. And as you can see, it's literally 7 inches. So if you guys are doing this and you want to know what the measurement is, it's 7 inches across. But if you do make yours a bit wider, then make sure to take that into account as well. Yep, nope, no markers. It's okay, I can do this. So I'm just gonna count from the side, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need the middle of this in order to create the opening that is going to start the strap, hence the reason I'm counting the sides. So since we know it's definitely 10 on each side, so it's going to have to be 1, 2, take that back, 5 on both sides. So I need, can I even count? I actually have no idea. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be our middle here, just this babe. I'm gonna clip that sort of now. It doesn't feel very right, but again, we're not scared of fogging around here, so if we need to make any changes, we just do that. But we gotta get started. So in order to start the opening slash the strap, all you do is crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, so we've crocheted 5 on the side here, and I'm just going to go 1, flip it over, and back to our crochet this way. And that is one. That's two. That is three. So essentially we are just looking for the middle. Oh no. And then flip again. Go back on ourselves. Need to progress a bit before we can see what the progression is. Hence the reason I'm not really saying much and just building instead. Okay, hopefully you guys can see what I have been doing. Essentially, I've just crocheted one half and I'm going to bead this half slowly. And once I'm happy with that, with the length that we have on the side, I will start beading the second half. So we will have an opening right in the middle like the design. Hence the reason I was trying to bead more of it before I showed you guys, because if not, it kind of makes no sense. It just looks a bit like, what is that? But essentially this is how I made the sample for the first opening, and it works pretty well, so I'm going to be sticking to that. So again, now it's just a game of patience. Just go, keep going until we get a nerve. Hey doll, how are you doing? If you guys have any questions, make sure to let me know. This is a pretty simple tutorial. The only thing is it's repetitive, so it does feel like it takes forever, but in terms of difficulty, I would say this is not a difficult product to make. If you crochet. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to talk down at this. I'm just saying it because if you want to make one for yourself, it's something that you can do, is essentially what I'm saying. You just need time and patience, and of course yarn to make it happen. But it is a cute product. I can see the hype. And also in all of this, guys, I haven't even asked, will you pay the price? I know the price point is got a lot of people talking. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not actually surprised. I'm more surprised that people are surprised that Apple would literally put that as their price point. It's like, come on, be for real. Whenever has Apple not been expensive? Like, do you get what I mean? It is literally what their marketing strategy is known for. So I'm actually more surprised that people are surprised, and it's like, are you new here? This is what they do. But with that being said, are you a fan of this product? Will you be paying it if it gets back in store? Because apparently it's already sold out. So, you know, this is the reason why they can afford to put the prices that they put, because they know people will buy it. You know what I mean? So if it wasn't sold out, would you be paying $230? I feel like it's still going to be the same in pounds, actually, given the exchange rate. So would you be paying $230, £230 for the Apple iPhone Pocket? Let me know in the comment section. Would you pay £230 or dollars, wherever you are, for this product? I am so confused. I'm not even sure what is going on anymore. Is the camera on? Is the camera not on? What is happening? Ah. I just had to restart. I'm gonna try something else on the sides. I mean, the sides are clean, but I feel like it could be cleaner. So instead of just having one chain, I might chain two and see if it would turn out a little bit neater on the sides. I'd rather make this correction now than later on. I do not love it because of the sides. I'm not redoing the ones I've done already. Those can be exactly how they should be. It's the beauty about samples. It's just for me. So any mistake we make, it can stay between us. You know what I mean? Now we are back. Next row. Again, I have to do a few more rows before I see if the double chain on the edges is making any difference. We're just gonna keep going. One and two, chain, flip, and move on. I was even worried about using an 8 on this project because I thought, oh, it might be a bit too gappy, but now I'm realizing I could have even gone as far as using a 10 and it would still be absolutely fine because of the stitch pattern. But we live and we learn. Oh, I didn't even have my laptop charging. Not good. Good thing I spotted that. There we go. Okay, 1 and 2 and a stand. So I'm trying to make sure the sides are even and the sides look as clean as they can be. This is it with a double crochet on the side, and this is it with a single crochet on one side. I don't know if you guys can actually see the difference, and if I'm being honest, I think the single crochet on the side actually looks a bit better. So we're just going to keep crocheting this one half until we're happy with the length, and then we can start with the second part. But I'm gonna go back to my single crochet. I don't feel like, not single crochet, the single chain on the side. I don't feel like the double chain made much of a difference, and it is a bit zigzaggy. That's fine, I don't actually mind that. Can be our own creative addition. I know. Okay. Hey. This is how much we've done on the first roll. I don't remember how far ahead actually. The good thing about this is I don't have to worry about remembering. I just have this to work with. Oh, we don't have much more to go actually, which is beautiful news if I do say so myself. So a few more on this side and we should be done. So let us get on with it. But the colors are absolutely so gorgeous. Well, you know what? I'm just saying, if you do not want to spend £230 on the iPhone Pocket, there is an option. I'm not even trying to be a troll here. I'm just trying to give the people an option, because it's always so easy to feel like you're being left out with the stuff when there is like a new product and all that stuff. But honestly, if you can make it for under that, I kind of see. I would say take it. But I am saying I am surprised that people are surprised that Apple would charge that amount for a product, because Apple is known for charging, you know, expensively for their products. And who am I to tell people what to charge for their products, especially as someone who is in the creative space where people always want to underprice your goods and services. I do feel like they should definitely charge what they think their product is worth, and it's up to people to buy it if they don't want to. And I did ask as well if people would spend that on the iPhone Pockets, but you know what? The product is already sold out, so it kind of proved that they were right to price it at such a price point, because people are ultimately buying it. So say what you want to say. They know their market, they know their target audience, and they know what they will get away with, and they sure as hell are getting away with it. But for me, my job is just to show you guys that you can make it yourself. If you wanted to, you don't have to. But if you can crochet, if you can knit, then it can be yours for less than $230 or pounds. Do not get mad, do not get upset, just make yours. Or find someone who crochet and get them to make you one that is custom and pay them for their creativity. So it's a win-win for everyone, in my opinion. But what do you think about the choice of yarn that we're using for this project, guys? Oh, I do have a video talking about everything that I'm asking from Santa this year, so make sure to check that out. It's on my channel. I have big plans, and I'm really hoping that Santa is ready, because you know there is bills to pay. A girl got aspirations, she got things she's aspiring to. So I have a list of about 10 things, nothing too crazy, just 10 things that I've asked Santa for this year. So make sure to check out my channel for all the lists, because I feel like my list is sort of like a mini insight into where I'm trying to go and the plans for the future. So if you guys are curious as to what is she about, what does she want, why does she crochet, any of those questions you have would definitely be answered when you watch that list video, my wish list video, which is now up on my YouTube channel. Okay, I think we have enough on this one half, but I'm just gonna check one more time. How about you? What are you asking from Santa this year, guys? It doesn't have to be crochet related, it doesn't have to be business related. Just what are you asking for? Ah! Guys, how absolutely cute is this? I'm gonna do one more row just for the sake of doing one more row. I think I'm gonna do 2 more rows on this one side, then we can start working on the second half of the strap. I really want to finish the strap because I want to show you guys how easy it is to make, how easy it is to bring the both straps together to complete this project, because I feel like that's what looks like the most intricate part when you look at the product. So definitely make sure to keep your eyes peeled for the end, because that is the easiest part in my opinion, but it can come off a bit tricky-ish or tricky looking. So I think I said I was gonna add 2 more rows, but I might just add 3 because why not? So this is the first row done. Now we move on to the second one. When crochet projects are always so interesting because it's so repetitive, so it does feel like nothing is happening for the majority of times. But once it's done and you can start making changes, it gets quite exciting again because you can like see progress. Okay, row 2 done. Thank you very much. The colors are the reason I chose this for this pocket. Every time I say pockets, I kind of get like confused with the DJI pockets or the cameras, the pocket cameras and stuff. But I guess that's exactly what the product is. It is a fun pocket. Okay, one half of this baby is done. If there was any error when I was guys, I can't speak anymore. If I made a mistake when I was counting the measurements, I will cry, but I'm not changing anything from this point on. Like, you guys have no idea. I'm just like, no. So hopefully we have calculated properly. I'm just gonna knot this down to be safe than sorry. So this is what we got going on here on this one half. Now let's get the straps on the sides done as well. And this is how much yarn we still have left. Remember guys, I started with a 50-gram yarn. Wow, I can't even speak. I started with a 50-gram yarn and we still have pretty loads of yarn to go. If I'm being honest, we haven't used that much at all. So now we are going to come back to the middle. So this is 1/2. We want to make this half. And to do that, I'm gonna skip this loop here, which is my middle, and just start from here. So that started from here. We don't want this, we want this. I hope the measurement is right because I don't actually want to deal with it again if it's not right, but it is what it is at this point. 1. So that went there, that went there. Okay, so now we've gotten enough. Flip it over and progress this way. Again, just like the other side, we have to kind of go a bit further before we see how our progression is looking. Can you see what we're doing, guys? Can you slowly start seeing the progression? I mean, if you want it to be more of a V, you can obviously play around with your placement, but I don't want it to stretch too much, so I am more than happy with this. Now it's just a case of it's coming along. Flip it again. everything should be okay, but because I have trust issues, I am going to double check after this roll, see how it's coming along. And there we go. And this is how we build both sides. It keeps turning around, but once it's sewn together, it would feel and look exactly how it should. So this is what we're doing on both sides and just building along. I love when things works out how they should. Okay, we still have plenty of work to do, so let's not get carried away. The colors are absolutely so lush. So now we are just repeating the process. People who are fast at crocheting, they're so lucky. They honestly have no idea just how lucky they are. Dun, dun, dun. This is like the perfect time for you guys to ask all your questions, because we're just doing the same thing until we have enough of what we need. So fire your questions away. Also, hope you're having a good day. What are you guys up to? Are you at home? Are you at work? Thanks guys for joining. trying to keep an eye on this comments, but I'm also trying to keep an eye on this stitches to avoid mistakes. I always say this: if you need to practice patience, pick up crocheting. I haven't knitted before, so I can't speak from that perspective. But if you literally need to work on your focus and concentration, pick up crocheting. There's no way you would not be concentrating. There's no way you wouldn't be focused. I mean, there is, obviously. That's why we have like 10 projects simultaneously going on, because at some point your brain just can't take it anymore. But I would say this year has been absolutely amazing, because I have finished a lot more projects this year than I've done ever, which is absolutely great news. Because some of those projects were getting out of hand. I really did push myself to get a lot of projects finished this year. And I'm very much looking forward to doing my end of year video where I show everything that I've worked on in the year. I've never done that before. To be fair, my channel is what's it called? She's a new babe. So I wouldn't have had the time to do an end of year before now. But I'm very much looking forward to the end of year. This is going to be the first one, and I can show you guys like everything we made, how I feel about it, changes to make to if there is any changes to be made. It's gonna be a fun video, so make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Just thinking about it is already making me so happy. I'm just like, oh my god, I can like reminisce on each project and talk about how each project made me feel. I love that for me. But also, how is it the end of the year already? Like, I really feel like a lot happened this year, but at the same time, where did the year go? I don't know if anyone else can relate. I'm just like, where did the year go? What am I making? I am making a dupe for the iPhone Pocket, I believe it's called. But I just thought, why not? If you do not want to spend £230 or dollars, you can make it yourself if you can crochet. So I just wanted to hop on here and show you guys quickly how you can make yours for the cost of your time and sanity. Yeah, anyway, I was talking about the end of year videos, because anytime I see people make theirs, I just like, I would love to do that so badly. So this being my first one is going to be quite exciting, because this is going to be the first time that I'm like, this is everything I made. But instead of doing January to December, I am going to be doing December to December, just because I didn't get the chance to show some of the things I made last year. So I want to make it like, I want to do the December to December, so you guys can see a few pieces that I made last year before I got started on the channel, so they can still have a moment to shine, you know, to be included in a conversation. So I'm very much looking forward to that. We are getting somewhere. Do not ask me where. I just know we're getting somewhere. Been sat still for what, 2 hours now? No one can call me impatient ever again because wow. I'm sure I don't have to redo that. Don't even think we're halfway through yet. I'm not gonna be doing any measurements anytime soon. Don't wanna get my feelings hurt. Looks like I'm crocheting a tie from here. guys. We are getting somewhere. Oh, look at that. We're actually getting closer than I thought we were. That is not bad news for me at all. So I'm just realizing that I have made this part a little bit thinner than this part should be. So guys, don't be like me. Make sure to get your measurements exactly right. I am not going back to redoing this. Absolutely not. But as you can see, there is a slight difference in the size. But luckily, because of the yarn, it doesn't stand out too much. But if you want yours to be absolutely exact how it should be, then make sure to not forget that edge there. Just keep yours nice and clean and have the measurements exactly done right. I am blaming the fact that I couldn't find my little markers for this, but if we're being honest, you and I know that I could not care less for that 100% accuracy. I don't feel like it makes too much of a difference for me, but for you, make sure to get your middle right so that you don't have to deal with one half being bigger than the other. Okay, let's see how much we actually do have. Ooh, or maybe not. I thought we still had more to crochet. Yeah, we do. Let's not get too carried away now. One. I think it's about 3 more that I have left to do. Couldn't show you guys, I had to flatten it on the table so that I can see. So I'm just gonna do 3 more rows and then pin and see how it looks. Row 1 down. Let's go to row 2. Okay, that is row 2 done. 1 more. I think we have what we need on both sides. Just making sure. Yep, length looks about right on both sides. So we have this 1/2 here and this 1/2 here. So the only thing that we got left to do is to pin everything in place so it looks like one instead of 2 separate pieces. I keep hoping to find all my 2s when I need them, but I guess that's asking for too much. So the first that I'm going to do is I need enough string to sew. So I'm just gonna cut off this much. There we go. I don't want to have too much strings just floating around everywhere, so I've just gone for what I need as opposed to what I don't need. This is the 1/2. This is the first one that we did. So the first place blah blah. The first thing that we're gonna do is sew this part together, and hence the reason I left this much string on here. I'm actually gonna sew today. I will tell you guys why towards the end of this video, but I'm going to just sew that real quickly first. Let's see the rubber one. Nah, that's too big. That's too big for what I need. Okay. It's pretty straightforward. Just sew it down. Hi, thanks for the like. So I'm just sewing, following the crochet pattern that I've made earlier, and I'm going to do a single stitch for this. I'm sewing as if I've made a slip stitch. So I don't know, what's the best way to show you guys this way? Just a slip stitch. So the inside and the inside. Excuse me. At this stage, I'm just going to tie this over, and that's all done for the side. We have sewn this first half. Now let's move on to the side. First thing I'm gonna do is to secure the last crochet, and I'm gonna do that by just pulling that out. There we go, that's done. Fold this baby over. And just how we did in the first on here, we're gonna do the same on here. Nice and simple, easy enough to follow. So same thing I did, just sort of like a slip stitch. I'm going round on this because I want this thread to be on the side when I finish. You guys are gonna see why in a sec. So I'm just taking my stitch round. And now we are back here, which is this two halves. So we want obviously the two halves to connect like so. Is that making sense? I hope it makes sense. It's literally like it can't get any more straightforward than that, if that makes sense. So I've lost my string. Okay, I haven't. I was about to scream. All right, just making sure. This is like so difficult to show when it's not flat on the table, but we'll make it work. We've come this far. So this is the string, this is one half, this is the second half, and we want them to connect. To do that, all I'm going to do is continue sewing, of course. I'm just gonna attach this to this babe here. And now you see why I left a long string when I finished the project. That's simply because I knew I needed it for the completion of the sewing. I don't even know what I'm saying, but I hope that made sense. It made sense to me. So I'm just gonna sew one. I'm gonna sew the back first, and I'll come back to the front. So let's start with that. Tackle one area at a time. I can't really show you guys how I'm sewing this just because I'm just following the crochet stitch that I made earlier and trying to keep it as clean as possible. So how far you go down here is really up to you. I don't think you need to go that far. I think this is about enough. It's about an inch down on the side here, which I think is pretty good enough. So I'm gonna start working my way back up because I'm minimizing cutting the strings and starting again if I don't have to. I'm just trying to hide the thread the best way I can, at the same time making sure it's also secured. So now we are back to the side, and we of course have a string, so we're just gonna do the same on the center here just to hold it together a bit more. I'm not exactly sure what I did when I was sewing this part, but it does look a bit silly, but it's fine. I can come back to that another time. These are all the corrections we can make later. Sewing by hand is honestly not one of my favorite things to do, but need must sometimes, so you gotta do what you gotta do. I'd say one more, and we have enough on the side as well. So there we go. And just like before, I'm gonna start working my way back up. just to give myself a bit more assurance on the stitch. I obviously don't want the phone case to fall, the phone to fall right out before I even get to use it. Okay, I think we are back to the top. I'm just gonna hide this stitch somewhere. It's tied up a little bit. Ooh. And that is it done. I am still getting quite upset because I'm not sure why this part looks like this, because I did exactly the same thing on both ends, but this part wanted at all brand new. But it's up to you. At this point you can literally flip it over so you have a cleaner finish, because look at the difference that made already just from flipping it over. So I'm gonna do that real quickly, just so we can hide all the mess, and we can always come back to trim, chop things off and all that stuff, which I might actually do right now. Let's cut this out. And this one too. I'm gonna come back later to tidy all that up. Just wanted to show you guys what it looks like completed. I need to stem mine down so it gives that complete. I think it's because I flipped it over. Now it's actually not sitting right how it should. Whereas this way, because it was crocheted that way, it stayed exactly where it needed to stay. So let's just turn it back out. And this is essentially the purse. It is honestly up to you if you feel like it's worth it, and if it's not worth it and you want to spend your money on it, it's very much up to you. I'm a strong believer of people should be able to charge what they want to charge. However, this is the reason I'm not so keen at this product, and I feel like it's not worth the money for me, is because one, I don't feel like it solves any problem. Like, I feel like we already have something very similar like this in the market. Like, we can find something very similar to the phone pockets in the market at the moment. So it really doesn't solve any problem. Like, I don't think it's waterproof or water resistant, so it kind of don't make any difference. You still have to get the phone out of the pocket completely to be able to use it. So again, it doesn't really solve that problem of when you have a pocket and then you don't want to get your phone out completely, or you don't want to get your phone out and all of that stuff. Maybe I'm just nitpicking, but I feel like if you're going to charge a bit more for a product, then it should actually do a little bit more, especially if you are Apple, you know what I mean? So I don't feel like it solves any problem. The colors are cute, but nothing like extraordinary, like nothing I'm gonna lose sleep over. And most importantly, the length is very, very silly. Like, are we carrying, I know it's advertised to be carried like this, but I think that's silly, because I don't know who is carrying their phone that way, especially not if you live in the UK, aka if you live in London, where phone thieves are snatching your phone every 2 seconds. So now you're just gonna be announcing to them that you have iPhone money, you know what I mean? Like, no one realistically carry their phone that way, in my opinion. And because no one realistically carry their phone that way, I am going to go back and make this longer, so it either sits like a neck strap, or it sits like a side strap, like a side bag, because that is how we carry our phone when we carry it on the go. You know what I mean? So that's one of my biggest downside to this product, is the fact that I can't actually use it. You know, I can't use it realistically. I'm not carrying my phone like it's a decoration. Like, this is 2025. Having an iPhone is not a big deal anymore. No one needs to be like, oh my God, I have an iPhone. It's like, okay, cool. So does everybody else. You know what I mean? So I just, that's for me is the downside of the product. That's the main reason why I'm not a huge fan of it, or the price point. I just don't see what it brings in terms of a cute video, a cute aesthetic idea. It looks good. That's all I can say. It actually looks good, but I do feel like I can find something, or I can make something better for that price. So it kind of defeats the purpose. If I want to pay £230, £230, yeah, £230, I want to see what I'm paying for. It is a cute idea. This is the one I first made as a sample. This is a different fabric. Of course, I use this coily crochet, which is absolutely gorgeous. I think this is totally stunning. Again, I haven't finished it completely because, like I said, I can't really look. I can't put it across my head. I can't wear it as a side bag. I can't really just wear it this way either, like it looks silly, you know what I mean? So I need to make it longer in order to make the most out of it. It is a very cute design idea, but it's not long enough and it's not doing what it needs to do, in my opinion. And that's the only thing I have against it. Let me know in the comment section if you guys agree with me, disagree with me, why you agree with me, why you disagree with me. If you want to see what it looks like longer, I am going to be posting that video up on my shorts, so make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. But that's all, guys. I think it is done. This is 2 whole samples that I've made. I made one last night and I made one today with you guys. So I mean, for a day's job, it's not too bad at all. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like on both of them. I think it looks really cute. It is a cute product idea. But I am going to be making those changes that I said, because again, it just doesn't work and I need stuff to work, you know what I mean? So let's try it on. So we got my phone and we're gonna first test it out on the one we just made. I know I said, oh, I'm not bothered that this half is what's it called, is bigger than this other half, but I lied. I am bothered. Luckily I'm gonna redo just because I want the straps to be longer, so I am gonna be making that change as well. If you guys want to see how it looks, shorts, my darling, is going to be on shorts. So I am just squeezing my phone in because I slightly messed up my measurements, but again, my phone has a case on it, so let's keep that in mind. And this is what she looks like. I mean, come on. I think the print on this is absolutely gorgeous. I understand that Apple likes to keep things simple and just go for solid colors, but I do feel like if they're giving us a bit more je ne sais quoi, I might be a bit more forgiving with the product. I mean, look at this. This made all the difference, in my opinion. This is absolutely so cute and adorable, and that is simply because of the prints. So this is what it looks like, all completed. Not a bad piece of product at all, in my opinion, but again, it just not functioning enough for what I need it for. So I'm going to make mine into a crossbody, or something you can at least wear above your head or something, because this right now doesn't serve the purpose. But let us see it with the second design, which is this one here. I really like this. I think maybe because it's winter and I can just see the coziness of this, and of course I didn't have to fight for my life to put it on. And this is what this looks like on this half. I've given a lot more room on the top here as well, so it's pretty cute. It's pretty solid. Again, let me know what you guys think. If you're not subscribed, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. But this was fun. I had fun making it. I hope you guys have fun watching it as well. And I'll speak to you guys real soon. Love you guys, loads. Mwah. Bye.